Nikki Haley's up-and-comer. Boy, she's in great shape in South Carolina. A real conservative. Oopsie-doopsie. A conservative blogger has now said that he had, quote, an inappropriate physical relationship with Nikki while she was married. She's been married for 13 years. She denies it completely. She says, I have been 100% faithful to my husband throughout our 13 years of marriage. This claim against me is categorically and totally false. Now, the conservative blogger is Will Folks, and he was definitely in her camp, had been supporting her throughout. He'd gotten behind her from the get-go. He says, look, I didn't want to do it. They made me do it. There was all these different staffers that were coming out from the different campaigns and saying that they were leaking information and that they were going to embarrass me, they were going to embarrass her, and that they were going to out us with so-called physical evidence. So now I don't want to be forced into lying. The fact is, I did have an affair with her. Now, he says he wasn't married at the time, but he's come clean to his wife anyway and said, hey, look, I should have told you about my previous relationship. But Nikki was married at the time, so we got a controversy on our hands. Now, who do I believe? I have no frickin' idea, okay? Because when I first read the story, I was like, well, how do we know? It's a blogger. Is there more evidence? He just says he did it. Now, he's not just, you know, a random guy, you know, I don't want to say sitting in his basement. Everybody says that. But he worked on campaigns. He worked with Nikki Haley before, and he worked with Mark Sanford as his communications spokesperson. So he's been in South Carolina politics. He's made some enemies. I don't know what his motivations are. He's conservative, so do I trust that he's telling the truth? When's the last time they did? So my first reaction was to say, you know, you don't know. But then when I read his story a little bit more, it seems like he has no motivation to throw Nikki Haley under the bus. He's desperately trying to support her, so he claims. So that makes you think, maybe. But look, there's just not enough evidence one way or another. But if he's right about the leaks going forward, well, it'll be interesting to see, because right now Nikki Haley's saying absolutely, positively not. But if that physical evidence comes in, she's going to be in a world of trouble. Of course, Sarah Palin has stepped in and defended her and said, look, it's the liberal media that's making it up, even though Will Folks is a conservative and has nothing to do with the liberal media, and that they're always going to have these smears against you, and they're just bitter and jealous. Well, if it turns out she did do it, this statement from a debate she had for governor of South Carolina going to come back to bite her. Let's go to clip number 1.
Question, you'll have 10 seconds for this answer. Mark Sanford, John Edwards, Bill Clinton, all men who have cheated on their wives while in power. When faced with opportunities and temptations that come with power, how do you stay true to your family, your faith, and your values? Ms. Haley?
You know, I think the answer is you keep the Lord, you keep your family, and you keep your friends very close. And you always remember that you have to stay as humble as possible and understand that service is just that. It is service. And you are being held to a higher standard, and so you have much more service that you have to give. And you're a role model to everybody that follows you.
You know, if Will Folks did have an affair with her, it's hard to blame him. I mean, she's not all that, but she's not bad. Not bad. I mean, she came knocking back in the day. I might have answered the call. And here's another reason why. Did you know she's actually South Asian? Who knew that? It turns out her real name is Namrata Nikki Haley. Her parents are Dr. Ajit and Raj Randhawa. They're from Indian Punjabi Sikh immigrants from Amritsar, which I would not have guessed based on the photos initially and based on the name Nikki Haley. But she got the name Haley from her husband, of course, who I wonder how he feels about that these days, and Nikki's a nickname. But yeah, I like the South Asian representing, but apparently she was representing in one too many places. We'll see. We'll see.